Feeling down? Feeling introspective? Hi, I'm JanitorJoey, bringing you today's installment of AniMay18, your daily dose of anime, every day in May. If this is the case, perhaps you will relate to the tween drama of When Marnie Was There. I have a long history with Studio Ghibli, and I feel the need to assess the studio's library of films every time I watch a new installment. Because for having such stellar production quality and some of the absolute best films of all time under their belt, I'm still surprised over and over about how limp and unappealing half the studio's films are. With each film fluctuating in quality and more films without Master Miyazaki's touch, I'm starting to think the truly excellent Ghibli films are the exception rather than the rule. When Marnie Was There is a dull tween drama about this sad little foster girl named Anna, who is totally unsympathetic and reclusive until by the end of the movie she just isn't anymore. That's like the whole story, since the whole thing is an introspective character study with a supporting cast so laughably inconsequential, it makes me wonder why the whole film isn't just some coma-induced dream sequence. If you want to avoid spoilers and slog through the film yourself, feel free to bow out now, but there's really not much to spoil. The only twist I was surprised by was that this movie wasn't a lesbian love story. So Anna is this asthmatic 12-year-old who has no blood relatives and has been living happily with her foster mother she calls Auntie since she was a toddler. Anna finds a check in the mail and pieces together that her auntie has secretly been receiving government money for taking care of her. She interprets this as confirmation that her foster parents don't really love her, and it opens old wounds about feeling abandoned by her dead parents and grandmother, whom she has no memories of. Anna's doctor recommends for her to stay in the rural countryside after an asthma attack to help her recover and relieve some of her stress. So she stays with her foster mom's sister and husband in their sweet house. This house is really the only place where I got a sense of that Ghibli magic in the details. The house is super fun and unique, but it's also like one of only 10 locations in the entire film. This aunt and uncle are also hilariously lax when it comes to taking care of Anna. They don't make her help around the house and let her go off and sketch for entire days at a time, even after finding her passed out in the dark on multiple occasions, never asking a single question. And when Auntie comes to pick Anna up at the end of the film, the other aunt goes,
"It was our pleasure. We didn't do anything at all."
Thanks for being a worthwhile addition to the story, you guys. So the whole meat of the story is about Anna learning about her family's history and coming to terms with her grief and self-esteem. A classic coming-of-age adolescent tale if I ever heard one. Thing with Marnie is, rather than overcoming her hang-ups through facing adversity and learning to rely on others, Anna's entire arc is based on her imaginary relationship with the ghost of her dead grandmother she barely even knew. Also, she's got some kind of doll at the beginning. It looks exactly like her grandma. I'm not sure if that was some twisted, egocentric gift from Granny or what. In the first scene, it's strongly shown that in recent years, Anna severed all ties to her classmates and has deep-seated anxiety and self-hatred. She actively avoids new people and can't hold a pleasant conversation to save her life, but one glance at the beautiful golden locks of Marnie and Anna is smitten. She has recurring dreams and a borderline stalker obsession with Marnie. Despite clear evidence that Marnie isn't real and the Marsh Mansion has been abandoned for decades, Anna routinely rows out to the house, has vivid hallucinations, or simply passes out and dreams everything and then wakes up in random places. I'm more concerned that Anna has schizophrenia, narcolepsy, sleepwalking, or all of the above rather than her friggin' asthma. Logistics aside, Marnie and Anna are the only real characters of note, and besides having an unintentionally homoerotic relationship, which also moves insanely quick, mind you, they don't really develop or hold the plot very well. For all of Anna's willingness to open up to Marnie, she doesn't really have to try. She just connects with her right away as if she didn't have any social issues at all. And we don't see Anna apply these skills to anyone else in the film until the very last scene. The twist that Marnie is a manifestation of Anna's grandma is pretty well hidden for the first half, but then we see imagery of Anna and her gray-haired grandma pretty early, and the rest of the reveal just drags its feet for a really long time. So long, in fact, that the movie goes out of its way to spell it out in 2 back-to-back plot dumps. One from the overly convenient best friend painter woman, and then again by an old photo that Anna doesn't remember being so fond of with Marnie's name clearly written on the back. I thought Anna totally pieced it together when the painter was telling Marnie's history, and with names like Marnie, Emily, and Anna in Japan, you'd think those would stand out as memorable to your dead relatives. Unless Anna didn't actually know her parents and Grandma's first names, otherwise, why wouldn't she question this Marnie as her own Grandma Marnie? Marnie seems to recognize Anna when they first meet, but then again, Anna is just vicariously living through Marnie's diary? It's a big contrived mess that's not even worth dissecting. Nothing interesting happens, no one really changes, it's not even that interesting to look at. Now, not all great Ghibli movies need supernatural fantasy elements to stay engaging. I'd argue that the only good ones do, but that's just my opinion. Hiromasa Yonebayashi also directed Arrietty, while not the strongest plot-wise, was still captivating by sheer spectacle and attention to detail. Granted, Miyazaki was also around to add his touches, but point being, Marnie doesn't hold a candle to more technically impressive Ghibli films. Even Up on Poppy Hill, my least favorite Ghibli film thus far, had little bits of animation that I thought were impressive. Marnie is the blandest, white bread animated film I think I've ever seen. I hardly connected with any of the characters, and the ones with the spotlight were hard to relate to. I didn't buy into the emotional stakes, and there wasn't really anything inventive or visually striking about the film at all. I can't even tell you what the music sounded like. None of it stood out at all. Why the studio picked to adapt this boring-ass book into a film probably says more about where the studio stands than any one decision. I promise I like anime, you guys. I gotta get some good with the bad. I think I've still got a worse Ghibli movie to watch this month, but the next one's gonna be a fun one, I promise, so stay tuned for the next episode of AniMay18.